Today is 7 steps to rock your personal brand online for 2019. So a lot of you know that I am working on my book. We just finished the last chapter. So it's all about getting the cover done and all those fun things. And I've been waiting to do this for a while, and I think this is opportunistic because building your influence has to do with who you are, telling your story. And we're going to give you the 7 key steps. And I took this right out of the chapters in my book. And you're not going to be able to do them all, but we are recording this, and I want you to take some good notes. So in doing that, make sure that you really take the notes that are relevant to you. I'm going to be speaking to the process, the system for really rocking your personal brand and getting yourself out to that next level of digital business influence. However, it's different for all of you. You're all on a different journey. It's an independent journey, and you guys all have your unique stories and things like that. In fact, in the book, a lot of you have seen come to some of our events, some of our workshops, and the cool part is you're going to get to hear about my story, but you're going to get to hear about the story of others and what allowed them to be pivotal. Now, we have just workshops on that just help you develop your story. And we have Kevin Bettino and some of the other storytelling crew on listening in with us today. So Kevin, I think this is cool that you're on with us because you help us in the success of our clients. So I'd like to see you in here. That's good. So let's get rocking on this because I like to keep these flash classes are a little shorter than the full classes that we teach. So those of you that don't know me, Dean DeLisle, located right here in Chicago. We're broadcasting and it's almost 30 degrees today, so we're excited. So where's everybody else checking in from? Just type that into the chat area. I'm always curious what part of the world everybody's in while we're getting started here. So as we do that, look at that. We've got the West Loop, a lot of Chicago. There we go. So, we got Southern Illinois. We got Palm Coast, Florida, Champaign. We have a lot of folks in Chicago here. Welcome to everybody. So with that being said, we get the blessing of training and coaching people all over the world, and we do it through technology like this. Some of you have been on our webcasts through GoToWebinar, WebEx, Zoom, YouTube. In today's world, with helping your influence get out there. So this year, we're going to help you sort some of that out and determine what's best for you. But we have the blessing of getting feedback from you, seeing what works, what doesn't, and making sure that we bring you the very best from others in our network, as well as from we learn and we put into our curriculum like this, which goes into our bigger classes, whether they're virtual or they're on site. So we have classes that we're announcing here in Chicago. We have San Diego, we have Miami coming up, and Vegas, and a couple of other spots. And then we're going into Southeast Asia, of all places. So we're excited about this year, about really getting our program on the ground because we've had it on the air for so long as well. So, and we do a lot of conferences. So hopefully if you have a conference that you're at that you think this is beneficial, we love to hear about those because we like to help business professionals, again, build their influence. It's a passion of ours. We're dedicated to you and to making your business influence great. So we have Zoom and Facebook Live going on at the same time. I see my buddy Darren is in Facebook Live. So good to see him checking in there. He's one of our influencers, Darren Steen. He is the next the next best trainer or the next global trainer, fitness trainer for this year or this decade, says Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's got a lot of muscles too. So cool to have you on there with us, Darren. And then we have a lot of you that are checking in here in Zoom. And we have people that are listening on audio, which will make sure that everybody gets the slide. So we have this very cool slide up, if you can see it, that actually shows shows you how to switch with audio. You can go through tests if you need to, or switch your audio devices, or go to a phone call. You can ask questions into the Q&A area if you want to queue up questions for the team. And then you can chat with us in chat, and that is usually just chatting. And welcome, Brandy, from Northern California. So now as we do this, you have multiple ways to ask questions. So Jen and the team are on the social media site on Facebook Live, and Jackson and the team are right here on Zoom, standing by to help you. Okay, so as we look at networks, we always want to know where you stand. So as we think about where we're at, let's do a polling question here. So those of you on Facebook Live will just have to type it in, because these Zoom polls only work in Zoom. But Jackson, let's go ahead and get that poll up. So how often do you get inbound referrals from social media? So do you get them daily, weekly, monthly, occasionally, or you don't remember? So just click on the one these are anonymous. So just click on the one that most applies to you. So we have daily, weekly, monthly, occasionally, and don't remember. So looks like a lot of you get weekly, some of you get monthly, some of you occasionally, and don't remember. And maybe you don't, maybe referrals come in different ways for you. So good. So that helps us understand where you're at. So go ahead and take that down there. There you go. Thank you, Jackson. Okay, so the next thing is, what is social media? Those of you that have been around us know that we see social media as an event. So who's my folks out there that love to work events? So you are event people. You go to networking events. We had a big one here in Chicago last night, a couple hundred people at the Electric Hotel. We have events all around the world. Tom's like me. And some of you, Robin's like, I go to 4 a year. And so they may be industry events. They may be chamber events. They could be just networking groups. I mean, over the decades, people, BNI and a lot of famous organizations. And so we see social media, when you log into LinkedIn, it's nothing different than going to a networking event, right? There's a ton of people. There's also, there's also, they're not just wearing name tags. At an event, a lot of times you have to do some recon ahead of time to get to know who people are. And then some folks are literally walk into events, and then they either know the person, or they know somebody that knows the person, or they know the organizer, and they have some really good tactics around getting to know the people in the room. Well, the cool thing with LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social media is you get a little bit of a profile with each person. And on the flip side, they get to see your profile, and that becomes to set your personal brand and who you are. So we're going to go through some of the steps of why it's important at the event called LinkedIn, which we'll hone on specifically, but really these principles apply in all social networks of why it's so important. So as we look at, who you are, and we'll throw up another polling question here, is really, are you a business influencer? And influencing, if you think about it, it's really necessary for anyone in business to influence decisions. So Jackson, there you go. If you can put that polling question up for everybody, are you a business influencer? And then as we look at this, we have, and some of you are managers, some of you are business owners, some of you are consultants. And again, those of you on social media can just chime in. And okay, so Jackson, are we just about done with that poll? All right. So now as we look at this, that's a trick question. So when we say, are you a business influencer? The correct question for all of you is yes. As you think about it, whether you influence people positively or negatively, or you impact decisions that are within your reach or just beyond your reach, we do this each and every day. So as we go into this, it's really just another thing of realization. And I've been working on some new techniques today. is being present, being in the moment. So how many people here are with me right now, or are we tempted by technology, and have we moved to another screen for the moment? And so this is interesting. When we look at learning habits, we look at behaviors, we look at decision making, we look at influence. And thank you for all of you that are typing in there. It's really one of these moments where when we leave, we have lost the commitment of being with ourselves and with somebody else. And I'm not going to make this about that, but business influences are dedicated. They're dedicated to the greater good of those that they're influencing. So as we go into this, think about that space. Think about that space of how it's a new year. You're present, you're dedicated to yourself, you're dedicated to your family, maybe growing your business and your company. And now all of a sudden, you're dedicated to others. So now we're in this space where, Jackson, if you could take that down. I'm sorry, there was a delay on that poll. So let's go ahead and thank you. Okay, and so now as we set goals and objectives, think about that space for you. You've now got a 2019 plan, or maybe you're in the middle of setting that plan. So I've got my personal goals and achievements and things that I'm going to do. I'm going to be healthier this year. I've hired Darren to help me with that. My book is almost done. I have Melissa on my team and her team who's helping me out with that. I've got a wealth of people that are on my side, on my team. And so as I look at this, when I set the business goals and objectives for Social Jack and for Forward Progress, and for you guys, we're holding a vision that we get to impact and change and help all kinds of business influencers change their lives. Well, for you, what does that look like? So I have a few that are up here. And as we think about this, and then Jackson will throw the poll up, and you can click multiple on this, but do you want to become a thought leader in your industry? Maybe you're in a company where you want to have executive presence. Are you in charge of making sure that the brand is better known? We call that humanizing the brand with the people. Paid speaking, maybe I used to say just attract speaking opportunities, but let's heck with that. Let's get paid to be speakers. Increase referrals. So we look at increasing the referrals, right? Like, Gene, I want those referrals you spoke about in the beginning. And at the end of the day, it would help if we generate new business. Now, some of you are like, I want it all, which is cool. So all the next movements that we're going to make sure they contribute to this and whatever else you have set out as your goal. Okay, so thank you for all that participated in that as we move on here. So now we get into a piece of what's next, Dean. Well, we create the persona, the story, who we are. The story has to connect us to our goals, to our objectives, to our outcome. And this is the part that people miss. And this is how Kevin and Kate, the people on our team, help draw that out from you. And man, I mean, I love this part that we teach, but it literally takes a lot of time to teach, to draw this out. I mean, what, Kevin, it takes like, 1 to 2 hours, to get the interview. And then there's back and forth internally, and then back and forth with the client. And we pull all the good nuggets out. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of quick tips here, because again, they say I'm running over, so apologize, but allow for an extra couple of minutes here. So we want you to tap into the feeling. You can hear my passion for wanting to help you, for wanting to grow the greater good out of this. We also talk about, how did you get started? How did you get started? And we have about 60 questions that we go through when we're building somebody's story. And we're constantly like adding and tweaking, because there's different ways to ask questions for different types of personalities. But for yourself, just get out a sheet of paper, have this commitment to yourself. Get out a sheet of paper and do what we call writing for the wastebasket. I studied a lot of famous music writers, musicians that have written famous pieces of music. As we get into here and you're working on your story, write as if no one's going to read it. The problem with working on like LinkedIn profiles and things like that is people are like, oh, people are going to read this. And there's all kinds of judgments and restrictions and old beliefs that come up around this whole piece, that we want you to just write as if no one's going to see it. So does everybody commit to just what we call doing a mind dump, write it out, as you think about it? Maybe you listen to this little segment, or we have a couple of courses. We have one coming up on really digging into this. There's a whole module that digs into this, but maybe whatever is best for you, just right for the wastebasket. And you want to begin to just tell your story, but I want you to think about, tell the parts that you're afraid to talk about. Like, ooh, I don't want people to know that about me. I mean, many of you know I grew up on the streets. I grew up. I say I went from from the alleys to the boardroom. I'm a street fighter. That's why Jackson and I wound up going into martial arts. Third degree black belt. It was a natural place to go, but it also taught a lot of discipline, a lot of other things that I've used in the business world. So everyone has that piece and that part about themselves, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that. That's what makes you unique, makes you authentic, makes you an individual. So please, yes, get vulnerable. I love that, Freddie. So it comes down to not just telling your story, but to allow people to feel your story. Okay, I just wrote a whole chapter on this, but I love what you put in here, Freddie. This is amazing. So from the power of vulnerability, but think about the power of authenticity. So when we look at this, it is a space that we have a vision of for all of you. Okay, so one of the first things you can do is, once you get your story down, the next piece is really Google yourself. Look and go 3 pages deep. Is this how you want the world to know you? So, LinkedIn's going to pop up, probably Facebook. Some of you may be MySpace, whatever it is. But I'm laughing because there are old profiles. I think I found a reunion.com. I think I typed in at the time, and I've had a few reunions. I'm not going to age myself too much here. But, things like that where you filled out a profile, and maybe it was who you thought you were or who you wanted to be at that moment, but it's not who you are today. It's not that true, authentic self. So now as you get into this, think about the power of being authentic, but make sure the internet reflects that for you. So, we say every Monday in your calendar, just like changing your oil and the filters in your home and everything else, and the batteries and your fire alarms and all that stuff. Make sure that you Google yourself at least once a month and go a couple pages deep. And is the internet helping you tell your story? Okay, and it can be positive or negative, but at least at least you know what's out there. So everybody agree to do that. It's simple. Put it in your calendar. It's an easy thing to do. Now, so now when you do this, so Robin's like, how do you do this? So Jackson, hold that question to the end. Put that in the question queue. Great question. How do you do that when you have a common name? The quick answer on that is, Robin, type in your first name, last name, and whatever industry you're in or what you represent. Right. So you are still a carvologist, right? So you're a craftsperson. So however you deem that or own that in the world, make sure that you put in your name and put that out there with your name. And so you can do that with your brand. There's a lot of pairings in there, but I'll go in deeper into this, right? There you go. And you might want to brand with a middle initial, a last name, etc. Now, then you get into the next step. Complete your profile. And we always say this is your first conversation. So, you want to make sure that your profile doesn't just have a good summary, but what if people want to go to the next level before they meet you? You look in LinkedIn and you have all these profile views. What does that mean? Well, people are checking you out. People are making considerations. And what's interesting is now, we are studying groups of people that are going to profiles and leaving. Why do they leave? It's a mismatch. It doesn't feel right. That's not the person that I was told that they were. Oh, what? Wait, you got a referral. But did you? Somebody referred you, said that you're good for business, and now all of a sudden they're going, wait a minute. No, wait, that's not who they said that was. That must be a different person. And then they move on because they have a short attention span, and the internet is made up of people that literally have 6, 7, or 8 seconds attention span because they're moving on to somebody else or something else. And so with that, we want to make sure you don't have what we call a high bounce rate. We want you to have an approachable picture, a current picture, maybe cover photos in your social media that represent who you are and what you do. You see Joe here every time, every time you meet Joe Strazzeri, I was on with him this morning, and when we hung up, Jackson looked at me and he goes, "That's a great man." You feel a hug from Joe and his team when you interact with them. They're always social. You feel like you're at an event, even when you're not. When you walk into their offices, they're really good at hosting. That is their brand, but they're also attorneys and counselors, and you're like, oh my gosh, wait, they're nice and they're attorneys. I know I have a lot of attorneys out there, so yes, you can be nice and attorney. And so anyway, but all of a sudden you're like, wow, these are people that care, and that's their brand. So real quick, we're going to put another poll up that just says, is your profile that represents you 100% complete? And so as we talk about this, it's like, it's yes, no, or you know what, Dean, I'm not sure. Now that I hear you talking, I'm not sure where we're at. So when we see that everybody falls and claims into different categories with this, so as we do this, it's important to know, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe it's not complete. And you know what? Mine isn't either, because my story's not over. Okay, so thank you for participating in the call. Or in the poll. So the cool thing about this is your story has just begun at this moment. Okay, there's cool things that happen to you every day. You build skills every week. You get new clients all the time. You have new successes, new stories. You need to tell that in alignment with that outcome and that goal that you've claimed. Think of the critical outcome. Think of who you are and who you want the world to know. And this doesn't just start and stop in LinkedIn. If you're on Twitter, it's on Twitter. If you're on Facebook as a business person, it's on Facebook. If you mishmash, and we always encourage you to be personal and business, then put that together in social, right? Yes, Freddie says our stories are evolving or evolving. I say evolving, but it's evolving. It's the same. It means the same thing with a ton of emotion injected in there. So there you go, Freddie. We are totally aligned. All right, now, and you can add all kinds of cool things. So we're not going to dig into how to build a profile. We have a ton of classes out there. Now, so as we look at this, the next piece is, well, build the ideal network. Dean started with talking about when I mentioned my goals and my outcome of completing the book. It's funny, I've been working on the book for 30 years. It took me 4 weeks to write it. So if you guys want to write a book this year, make sure you message me. I've got the team, the people that make it painless. And each and every one of you have a book in you, by the way. And yes, I don't sell book writing or anything else. I sell business influence. But man, when I found out how much easier it was like, okay, I know I've waited, but this is my time. I'm writing the book, so I can let people know how achievable business influence is, especially digital. Also, human business influence. Now, build the ideal network. Growing up on the streets, I was very alone. Trust was an issue. When I got into business, it transferred into business. So now it is really getting to a point where it's not about building a big network. It's building an ideal network. And we do something called social teaming. We own that term. We have built curriculum, college courses, grad school programs. We teach it in organizations, but social teaming creates an inside out and an outside in methodology. But let's take it simpler than that. I'm not going to teach you the whole science today. But if we get into this, and we see, so if Tom, actually, if you guys could type in your ideal target, if I could give you a referral out of my network at this moment, who would it be? Let's go. I may even be able to pop some names off here and give you referrals in the moment. So let's go. We'll go with, who's your ideal target? Who would you pick out of my network if you could? Give me an example. Type that in there. All right. Good. 5 to 50 million. Thank you, Rob. 5 to 50 million, small business, the owner, B2B owner, manufacturing. Okay. So let's say that I meet Sue and she is right in this. Her network is chock full of business owners. Maybe she's a business owner. And now as you start to look at this, you're like, okay, so I meet Sue, and we know that Sue has an entire network. Well, back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, I always like saying that, we had to have 7 to 12 interactions with somebody to really understand, build trust, and know enough about them to even know if they were right. We used to call them pre-qualification questions. And then all of a sudden we would have to like dig into these meetings to get enough trust to figure out who was in their network. And it would take a little bit of work to do this. Well, today in social media, you can do that in a lot less steps. You can look at, who's interacting with them. We have all kinds of techniques. Well, you would build your social team out of the people that make the most sense that you want to build a relationship with. And you don't do it with a big network. A team is made up of literally under 40 people. But if I were to ask you today, how many people bring you referrals? So we did the thing with the referrals earlier. Some of you get them daily, weekly, monthly, occasionally. Don't remember when the last one. But the average person has less than 3 people in their network bringing them referrals. Well, when we teach social teaming and you actually build a network and you have 387 connections that are all relevant in LinkedIn, look at the numbers on the screen. 6.4 million professionals. The odds are some of those are going to be, craft brewery owners, or some of those are going to be business to business, 50 million or 50 million and under. So now all of a sudden, you have 5 to 50 million. So Tony and Rob, you guys should probably get together. You might make a good social team. So as we build this, there's different methodologies. So let's keep moving so that we can get a few power moves in here and keep you on track. And then, we can guide you to some other stuff that can help. So some other power moves. So let's pretend, and I don't know, but let's pretend I just talked about Rob and Tony meeting each other. As we're connecting people, or we connect with each other, we always want you to connect up. I talk about this in the book, that I want you to connect up, level up. You're always networking up. So you go from, a minor league team in baseball to, you have double A, triple A, then you go to the major leagues, right? So there are different leagues, and different structures have different things and different methods by doing this. As you meet someone, a lot of times we feel like, well, we don't have the permission to connect, right? We feel like we don't have the permission to connect. Well, you'd be surprised if you meet somebody and you do the simple ask, especially even if they're a ginormous influencer. These guys, I could either look at them as competitors or teammates, and these are my teammates. And we have helped each other out, and we've gone head to head on deals with each other, and yet we respect each other, and we still help each other out continuously. So as we look at this, it's like, okay, who does that look like in your network? Who are the influencers in your network that you're not connecting with because of old beliefs, or the cha-cha in your head that goes, well, they got all these rules that they got to forget about it, man. If they're a connection, go after the connection. Learn to meet them, engage with their social media, and make a connection. You see them at an event, go up and introduce, or have somebody introduce you, make the connection. Because when you add the one person, remember the math, bam, you get everybody else. So it's a super cool thing. So I can't even begin to give you these are like the smallest nuggets of the entire program, but I want to make sure you understand the simplicity of this. So today, when you meet somebody and it's a higher level in their network, connect to the network, because on average, when you're engaging, you have the power of 8,000 to 1 for every connection that you make. That means when you interact, you like, comment, share, and you have a conversation online, you get an 8,000 to 1 hit, especially when both profiles are public. And it's a little different depending on the network that you have, depending on the social media platform that you're on. But man, 8,000 to 1 likes and comments, think about the power in that. Now, Tom, when you're working with different industries, but you're really leveling up and building up your network, and you really want to get in front of those craft brewery owners, and they're probably going to be more likely on Facebook and probably Twitter and maybe even Snapchat and Instagram, but it's the same principle. when you engage with that network, and now you're networking up and you're getting other people that work with craft brewery owners, and you're getting, the craft brewery owners in there, you're building your own networking event. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a yes if you guys are with me on this, because this is super huge. I'm giving you literally an 8-hour class in like 30 minutes. So write down what's relevant. You're not going to remember it all. That's why we record it. Okay. And then the sort of the holy grail here is measure your success. You had a goal. Are you increasing your thought leadership? Are you generating referrals? Right? Are you measuring that the right people are having conversations with you? Are you attracting those people to your profile? LinkedIn shows you, even if you're on the free version, how many people have looked at your profile. So as you look at this, that's the piece. Stay conscious with that. So Monica says, I'm not clear on the 8001. So let me finish up here and I'll come right back to that. Okay, so I'll give you the formula for the 8001. Okay, yeah, I've got a few minutes at the end here. I was looking at what I have coming up next. So real quick, also, there's a cool thing that LinkedIn put out. Write this down. It's called Social Selling Index. Social Selling Index. I want you to, not now, stay with me right now. Write it down so you can do it after this. Social Selling Index. Okay, so as you look at Social Selling Index and you Google it, LinkedIn will have a link by which you can get your score. Now, let me explain the score. So don't leave me. Don't go Googling it now. I know you're curious. What's my score? But wait till after this. Establish your professional brand. Ooh, how do they know? That's eerie. Well, they look for consistency. So maybe they're Googling you too. But theirs is more in LinkedIn. Is it consistent, right? So you'll get a higher score in here. Find the right people. They're going to look, Tom, for those consistencies. So if you're in different industries, you might have a lower score. So you might not be able to work off of this score so much, but hold consciousness for attracting the right people. And you'll know if once you use our relationship building system and referral machine system, you will literally know, because the referrals that come in are the very best and they take the least amount of effort to close. You guys ever had a one meeting close? Isn't that the best? When you go to the one meeting based on a referral and it's almost pre-closed for you, that's when you know it's working. Now, when you engage with insights, you engage with the network and you engage with the targeted network. Tom's like the unicorn lead. All right, so I love it. So now we build relationships. So we think about, what does it look like to build relationships? Well, relationships are people that engage together on a more than one basis. And so rather than just like going in and we didn't talk about this, but some people, and I've actually had people call me out on this, I have people watch for it, is human nature dictates that we have some core human needs. And one of those is to be connected and belong, right? So we have some very core human needs that some of us don't even know we have. We have this yearning to belong to groups and things, which is why social media took off. Well, building relationships means that there's a little more care, a little more mutuality, that you have different conversations with people that you really trust than you do with the rest of the world. And the more people feel this, the more they're attracted to you, the more they connect. Well, that establishes trust, thus relationships. So LinkedIn digitally looks for how many people are like going back and forth on a regular basis, and is that sort of connected to the brand and finding the right people, and is all this working together for them? And so as you look at this, your real goal is to build the right relationships, and that will feed you forever. And we even have transition pieces. So we have ways that once you get this system of ours down and you go from this industry to this industry, or this continent to this continent, it doesn't matter. You can change galaxies if you want, or industries, it doesn't matter. There's a way to pivot and shift based on your social team and your story, social team story. So think of that. These 7 steps are so tied together and so relevant. So now, hang on, we're almost at the finish line here. So are you really ready to go to that next level of influence? So there's a couple of things. If you go to Social Jack and you go to any of the things and you go to log in, we still have Social Jack open until the end of January. You can just go in and you don't have to create a login or nothing. You can just go in and look at interviews with influencers. You can look at some other classes that we've done, other variations of this class, and some of the other influencer classes that we have. That's all cool for you. Socialjack.com. There's other places. Once you become a member, you get access to all the courses and certification programs, social selling, and all kinds of cool things. Things that organizations pay tens of thousands of dollars to get from us. So we like giving this to the community so that they can get to know who we are. And at some point, you're going to hopefully want to take one of our classes, maybe here live or virtual. And we love the virtual because it's convenient. It gets you there. And then when you come in here live, we actually discount you for anything that you've paid us so you get a nice deep discount to come to the live classes, because our goal is to build your influence and so that you remember us as you become famous. Do you promise to remember us as you increase in business influence and fame? Please say yes. We just want to go, hey, you know what? I got this idea from Social Jack and Dean and his team, and that helps us feel good. So we appreciate if you would remember us when you're famous, please. Okay, so as we dig into this, there's tons of things for you to have, tons of things for you to get. Yes, and Tom will buy me a craft beer when he's famous. Yes, I know, Maggie, you share a ton for us, so thank you. You're a blessing in the world. Thank you so much. Okay, so be ready to write this down. So right now, Jackson and Jen and the team are going to give you we have a LinkedIn Get Found First. This is like a brand new program. We took our live program and we're doing a live virtual influencer course. So this is a program by which you can actually take this online. It's recorded. You actually have the ability to listen to it over and over again. But what I want you to do, buy one ticket and listen to it with someone else. Heck, maybe they'll even split the fee with you. It's only a couple $100. But actually, we have a special deal for you today where it's even less than that. But the idea is it's live. It's taught by me. It's all a lot of new curriculum. It includes 4 classes that we teach, 4 hours. You'll have 2 2-hour live sessions recorded. You get access to coaching. So if you have problems, you get stuck, you're writing your story, you're like, I don't know, you just type those things into the online coaching thing, and our coaches are standing by ready to help you. So it looks like a lot of you want to sign up right now. Some of you are checking your calendar and you want to discuss with the whole team. Now, some of you want to bring us into your team. And so you want us to come there and do it. We will come and do that. We have packages and all that cool stuff. But I want to invite you on February 12th at 1 p.m. Central. We start this, and some of you might go, oh, I might not be able to get there. Well, don't forget, it's recorded. So our goal is to make this so that you don't have to jump on a plane. You don't have to do this. You can start building your influence from this moment forward with what you learned today, plus this class. And so we really want you to think of that next level. So Jackson is going to send out, or Jackson, go ahead and take down the poll, and him and Jen are going to put that link. Looks like they already did, but most importantly, just for you guys, and I see some people listening on the call as well as on social media, write down Flash 100, because it's $297. The early bird is $197. And if you type in Flash 100, it's only $97. And that is literally until Friday. And today's Thursday, right? Yeah, so that's like till tomorrow. So you guys have a jump on the rest of the world. Do it with someone. Do it with your whole team. Do it in a conference room. You guys will have access to listen to the recording over and over again. So if you can't get the whole team together, get them together again. We have people that pay us to bring this into their weekly meetings. We literally are piped into their conference room, and we help them, right? We help them by coming into their culture and weaving this influence into their culture, thus humanizes the brand and attracts more business collectively as a social team from the inside out. I want to teach you all this right now, but I can't. I'm getting yelled at because I'm already over. So it sounds like a lot of you are interested. You have the link. We'll email the link out. Flash 100 is good till tomorrow. We appreciate each and every one of you. So I want to know from each and every, I'm going to put assignments up here in a minute just to have you some takeaways. But what is the one thing that you are committed to working on your influence for yourself? Type that in. What is the one thing? The one thing that you're going to change, do differently, act on today. What is the one thing that you're committed to? Defining your ideal network. Man, I love that. Who typed that? Rob? If you were here, I'd hug you, man. Like in a good way. Let's see. Maggie, consistency. I like that. Rob says, and then, and going to get them. Well, going to build a relationship with them. Kevin says, let's see. Make called. I'm not sure I understand that. I have to type that in again, Kevin. Let's see. Key takeaway. Add to my ever-evolving story. Yes, Freddie. Awesome. Defining our value to clients. Cross-checking internet presence. Yes, making sure your story is consistent. Oh, to realtors. Got it, Kevin. Tom says, I'm going to check my social index and see where I need to better focus. And you'll be able to feel it, Tom, as you attract people, conversations, people that are emailing you, messaging you. Monica's going to review her profile and digital impression. And then Pete's like, I'll see you in St. George. Awesome. Oh, hopefully I might see you at the gathering too in San Diego, Pete. Robin says, check out my social index. I'm in 2 different industries. Should be interesting. Well, don't worry, Robin. I have multiple voices in my head too. That's a whole different seminar. I'm just joking. So the idea is that's okay. 2 different industries is good. There's a way to weave that story together. So, you know, if you take this class, we'll give you some of the exercises to take you through and assignments to take you through. But let's give you some assignments here. I'm going to give you some extra assignments. Oh, and then we have a couple of prizes to give out. So as we do this, I think I'm good on questions, and then we want to announce our winners. So Jackson, if you could tell me the winners that we had that were, I think we had one or two. We have a winner that we're going to pick from Facebook and a winner that we're going to pick from the audience today. Actually, pick 2 winners from the Zoom audience, please. So I know we usually don't do that, but we're doing that today. Well, let's pick the winners and then let's get into these assignments while I'm doing that. So first thing is, right, become an influencer. Hold on. Become an influencer. You want to be complete and be relevant, be authentic, right? Think about what you will do for others first, and then don't forget to claim what do you want, what do you need for yourself. And then know your goal, right? Really tie everything that you do to your goal. And log in and intend to convert to relationship first and then go for the transactional. Have meaningful, deep conversations. There's a whole module where we teach you how to do this. It is like beautiful. Social and emotional intelligence. I don't know if you guys even know what that is, but it's like we dig into that and we help you convert relationships. And then provide value. Be present, just like you were with me today. Okay? And then practice your power moves. So in our winners today, we have Darren on Facebook. Congratulations. He is our Starbucks gift card winner. Now there's some rules here, guys. On Zoom, it's Tom Harness. Congratulations. And Monica Stako. So did I pronounce that right, Monica? I hope so. So congratulations to all of our winners. But listen, you're all winners. So think about this. When you get that Starbucks gift card, you have to teach that person something that you've learned today, because we want you to pass it on. We require that. If you've ever attended one of our workshops or anything, we want you to take what you learn and teach it to those you care about. So whether you won the gift card or not, you're going to have a cup of coffee with someone here in the next couple of days. Please, yes, teach forward, Tom. Hopefully I can use that. I really like that. So now when we do this, please promise me you will, the most important thing today is you put the one thing you're committing to into action. And then the next thing is to teach someone else. Does everybody commit to that? Just give me a quick yes. Awesome. You guys rock. All right. Well, with that being said, please follow us on social media. We have a new Facebook group. and it's called Business Influencer Alliance. We're being selective of who we let in there, but go there if you want to join. Actually, Jackson, if you could send the link out in the autoresponder. And Rob says, make Jackson wave. There you go. And then with that being said, I just want to say again, we appreciate each and every one of you. We wouldn't be where we're at today if we didn't have students, if we didn't have people taking our courses or using our services. So we appreciate each and every one of you, and we love the feedback, input. If you have suggestions ever for us, we're very transparent that we're not perfect. We're always learning with you. So we appreciate that. So with that being said, want to tell all of you to have an amazing business influencer day, and we'll see you online for sure. Take care, everybody.